Alrighty guys, this is snugsonblitz and I'm back with another video for you today. Okay, I have made this video 5 times now. I'm not even kidding. The first 2 times my mic didn't work, it didn't capture anything. The third time I thought I got it working because I changed software. Lo and behold, the beginning was okay, but partway in the audio got messed up and I didn't notice and I uploaded it. So had to take it down. That's a real shame. Then I recorded on my other computer, but it was just so slow in downloading it from the format that it was in. I've had to just leave that for now. And I've decided, you know what, I'm going to give it one more shot on this new software that I picked up. So let's see what happens. Anyway, what is this video all about? Well, as you can see from the title of this video, it's all about gold tanks and premium tanks. You might be thinking, hey, okay, Snugs, I'm out. Why? Well, you're a free-to-play player, and I get it. That's why I did all the best tech tree tanks and the tanks that I think you should be wary of. Of course, everyone has their own playstyle and opinions, but I thought I'd share mine. Played this game a lot. I think my ideas are worth listening to somewhat. So today I thought I would talk about premium and gold tanks and which tanks you should pick up, even without having to spend your own money. Now you think, wait, hey, Snugs, you have to spend gold. True, but you can earn gold easily in this game nowadays. Way back when, I had to buy gold, no ifs, ands, or buts. Nowadays, though, every day you get videos. That's 50 gold right there. You can get gold coupons from various crates. That's, I don't know, you get 10 a day or 5 a day or something like that. Then you have special events where you can pick up all sorts of free tanks, gold tanks, of course, as well as extra gold here and there. You've got the battle pass. If you pay for the battle pass, you get about 3,000 gold more than that. And if you don't pay for it, you get a few hundred. It all adds up if you don't spend it on anything else. Don't spend your money on camos until you've got enough tanks in the game that you don't care anymore. Or don't spend your money on gold shells, for goodness sake. Just change it to silver. That's easier said than, I mean, it's a no-brainer. Don't spend your gold for that kind of stuff. So now in the store, because of the Lost and Found event, as you can see, where is it? Here, this event, it's got 7 days left. We've got some very good tanks at very good prices. Which tanks should you pick up? Well, I did a review of that the other day, so you can check that out if you like. But today we're going to talk about all my gold and premium tanks. I'm going to go through each one, which I think are worth adding, and if so, at what price, or which ones I just think are solid pass. I might give a price for the ones that I don't think you should pick up just in case you're interested, just my thoughts, but sometimes I'll just say just don't even bother. Okay, so we've got a lot of tanks to go through. I can't remember how many gold and premium tanks I picked up over the years, but a lot of them I picked up for absolutely nothing. So I will share that with you as I go, but I will tell you what I think the tank would be worth today if it was in the store and you wanted to pick it up. So as usual, I'm going to start off at tier 5 realistically, because under that it's just not fun gameplay unfortunately anymore. But I just would like to give a little shout out to this tank here, the T2 Light. And the reason being, if you take a look here, 1,200 shells. Oh my god. That is crazy. So if you can get behind a tank, or even in front of them, but if you can pen them, their screen will light up like a freaking Christmas tree. It's so hilarious. It's annoying as heck, but it's great. The problem is each shell does only 2 damage or 3 damage or something like that. It's great. I forget what it is, but I picked this up as kind of a joke many years ago. Don't play it, but if you want a crazy tank in tier 2, just you might want to check it out. That's all. It's very rarely in the store because nobody wants to play those tiers. Okay, anyway, moving on to the first tier 5 tank I've got, the Medjay. I would say this is a pass. Solid pass. It's nothing really that exciting. Yes, it does have 3 or 4 shells in the magazine. It's got okay armor, slow, but I just don't think it's worth spending any gold on it. So I would say just save your money. The Titan Mark 1 is another tank I picked up for free. just go for the Crusader in the tech tree. It's identical pretty much. There's no real advantage to getting this tank, and unfortunately, they're just better um, light tanks these days that really outclass the Crusader, which is a real shame because I used to love this tank back in the day. Everybody thought it was pants, and I just learned to play it, and it really helped me become a much better player. But in today's meta, things have changed. So, yeah, solid pass. But now we arrive at the first tier 5 tank I think you would want to add to your garage. Why? Because of this gun, baby. This tank can do some serious damage. You get behind tanks and just go crazy, or on the side of those weakly armored tanks, and you're going to do, rip them apart in maybe 2 or 3 shells. Fun tank. How much would I think this was worth? Well, I got it for free, but I think I'd be willing to pay almost 1,500 for this tank just because of the fun factor of it. Okay, moving on. As you can tell, the gargoyle is based on this tank. It's a PZ, but this tank I don't think is worth picking up. Yeah, it's a solid meh for me. I haven't equipped it. That's how bad I think it is. It's not horrible. Okay, it's just I just don't think it's fun or anything like that. And this tank, the Ram 2. Oh dear God. Oh God, this tank. Ugh. It's like a Crusader, but just bad. It doesn't have the mobility. It's hard to hide. It's hard to get your gun in the right position, and your tank does just such little damage. It's a pew pew gun, but it just has weak pen. And it's very slow, so you can't shoot at distance. Rough tank. Solid pass. Anyway, moving on to tier 6. Well, this tank just came into the garage. I haven't played it yet. I'm intending to in the near future and do a review of it. But yeah, I mean, it's basically a Skoda, solid tank. I would say just get it in the battle pass if you've got a few bucks lying around. The Poodle. Now, the Poodle is almost identical to this tank here, the Panther. I think stat-wise, the Poodle is a little bit better overall, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But for some reason, I find the Panther a much easier tank to play. I would say get this tank over the Poodle. Skip the Poodle, get the Panther, maybe 1,500 gold. Now, I know they have this special offer right now is you can maybe get a crate to pick up one of the Battle Pass tanks, which the Poodle, no, neither of these are, but I don't know. They might even be in the bundle, I'm not sure. But 2,500 gold for a tier 6 tank? Yeah, no, I don't think so. I think you got to be looking at 1,500 for tier 6 tanks. My opinion only. The Eraser, it's basically ARL 44. The ARL used to be a much better tank. It got nerfed recently. That's a real shame. Don't feel it's as strong as it once was. Don't like it as much these days. I can't put my finger on what it is that's lost, but it's just not that good. This tank is the tank I used to take out when people wanted to train, and I was trying to help them become better players. So I play this a lot. It's just got decent armor, good gun. I guess it's worth about 1,500 gold, but I wouldn't pay more than that. The Ox, I would say, is a solid pass. It does look the part. I mean, it's kind of funky, I guess, but I like it. It looks vicious, I think that's the way I would describe this tank, but it's not really vicious on the battlefield, unfortunately. I wouldn't bother picking this tank up. Just stick with the T-3485, but even that's not a great tank, so pass. Moving on. Now this is a tank I think you should have in your garage. First of all, the camo looks great. Moving gun, why not? And the gun is fantastic. It looks really, really good. I think they did a great job with this tank. Everything about it just says, yes, get it in my garage. I'd be willing to pay 2,000 gold for this tank, actually. I just think it's one of the better tier 6 tanks. So, and it's not that old. So, the Tog 2, a classic. I hated this tank when I used to play against it. I thought it was just such an easy tank to kill and silly, and that's why I never bought it until one of my friends said, "Oh, I love the Tog." I'm like, "What?" Now everybody says it's horrible. He said, "No, it's great." He said, "Just push on up," and he's right. Just go front line and just take a bunch of damage, but unleash that gun and protect your teammates. It's great. It's a lot of fun. I would say 1,500 gold for this tank would be a fair price. But I would actually get this tank even more. I mean, it's almost a copy paste, but it just looks so, silly. And I'm not a fan of silly tanks. I won't pick up the Lupus because I just think it's silly. I won't pick up the 047 because I just don't like it. It's just weird futuristic tanks. No, thank you. I don't like the TVP's camo in tier 10. It makes it look like Iron Man. Pff, no, thank you. But this tank, it looks absolutely. Look, it looks like it's got like stuck on the side, like a little cardboard thing. I love that. This neon thing, I would definitely go for this over the top, and I think 2,000 gold is what I'd pay for this tank. I would say this is a definite must-have along with the Dreadnought in tier 6. On the other end of the spectrum, we have this tank. No, don't get it. Don't spend your money. Absolutely. Skip, skip, skip. Don't buy it. No. Just I've done a review of it. You can check it out on my channel, but you'll understand why. This tank, though, is one of the better tier 6 tanks. It's better than the tech tree. Gun is a little bit meh because it's got weak pen, but it moves around well. It's got great gun depression. I would say this is a solid buy at about 1,500 gold, maybe stretching it to 2,000 if you must have it, but um, yeah, it's just a little bit old. That's why I would say maybe 1,500 is more a fairer price in my opinion. This thing I think you gotta have in your garage. You've got to have it. It's huge. It's as big as a house, but it can ram to high heaven. That will it, and you're gonna die a lot in this tank, but it'll teach you to at least get your damage in. And I mean, I love to just ram a tank and then smack them with my gun, or smack them with a gun and then ram them. It's 1,000 damage sometimes to some tanks, even more. I killed a full health T20 just by ramming them, just because of gravity. I just went rammed down it. I knew I was gonna die, so I had like 60 health left. I figured before he reloads, I'm just gonna hit him, and I did, and I took his whole health. That was awesome. So I'd say 1,500 yen for this gold. Sorry, 1,500 gold would be fair for this tank, not yen or dollars. I'm sorry about that mistake. Yeah, definitely pick this one up. This tank, on the other hand, I picked it up for free. It's okay. I mean, it's a solid heavy tank, but I wouldn't really spend any money on it. I guess 1,500. This is the tank I think you want in your garage, just because it will teach you an unusual playstyle. I think unusual playstyles deserve a little bit more value, because if they're just copy paste or like any other tank, nothing that differentiates them from the other tanks around them, then no, why are you going to spend money on them? But this tank is a little bit different. It's got great gun depression, 14 degrees or something like that, grade 12, I don't know. Pop up in unusual positions, teach you how to play the stir mill. I think it's in the store for 2K right now. I think 1,500 would be a fair price because it is old and it's not the easiest tank to play for some players. But just sit at the back and snipe. Just find a good position and then be sneaky. That's what this tank is good for. This tank, though, is a tank you definitely want in your garage. This is a 2,000 gold tank for sure. You've got to get this tank. The DPM is better than the tech tree. Armor is better in my opinion. Yeah, it's just a great tank. Definitely one of the best tier 6 premium tanks. And this tank is also a great little tank. I got it for free in an event. I wasn't really excited about it. Thought I'd just leave it in my garage. But I do like the Star Wars armor. It does make it a little different. And this gun, put calibrated shells on this. Sorry, supercharge on this, and this gun becomes an absolute laser. Just point, shoot, it hits. It is fantastic. You do not miss. Great, great tank. Armor's solid. Gun depression is decent. I think this is a definite must-have in the garage. 1,500 would be a steal. I'd be willing to pay up to 2,000 for this because it is still a competitive tank even today. As is this tank, the Agent, the VK2801 variant, and it's just a little better because of that gun depression. If you want to learn how to play a fast tank, this is one of those tanks. This and the Cromwell Berlin, but I would take this over the Cromwell Berlin nowadays. The APCR is great. You might even want to use calibrated shells because you get that extra pen, but it is a fun tank, fast. Love it. Cyborg, I mean, it looks cool. That's what I can say about this tank. I mean, it looks great. It looks like a Terminator, and this minigun on the top. Why not? Give me that. Yeah, it would be nice if when you killed an enemy, just unleash the minigun. That would be so cool. Yeah, no, 1,500 gold. Just because I just think it's kind of boring. That's all. And it's almost identical to the tech tree, so just get that. Now, this is a tank you want in your garage. Why? Because it's the first double shotgun in the game, the double barrel shotgun kind of thing. It's quite fast. It can. My friend plays this quite a lot, and he does the business. It's still a very competitive tank. It is tier 7, but it is a unique tank. So for that, I'm going to boost it up, and I have to think of realistically what price you can get it for. I mean, tier 7, I would say you know, maybe 4,000, 5,000 from any other tanks, but this tank you're never going to get at that price. So I think if you can get it for 7K, I think that's probably the best you're going to be able to get it for. If you can get it under that, sure. But I think realistically, I mean, it will come to the store for maybe 8K or 9K. Maybe the auction will drop down to, but I mean, I don't think it'll get below 7K. So just keep your eye out for that. Definitely a tank you want in your garage. Fun tank. Just be careful of the traverse. It really stinks. That's the one like that. Now this tank, oh my gosh. Now you're never going to be able to buy this for gold. So how did I get this? Well, I didn't pay cash either. What I did is I gambled. Yes, I did. I did the one thing I absolutely hate. I gambled on crates. So what did I do? I spent 10,000 gold. Most of the gold I hadn't paid for. I just earned in daily events and things like that. So I spent basically 10,000 of Wargaming's gold to get nothing. So I saved up again, and again it came to the store. I spent 10,000 gold again, and I got it the second time around. My friend, on the other hand, was not quite as lucky, so it cost him 30,000 gold, a ton of gold, yes. But if you haven't been spending your own money for it and just saving up, I would say this is a tank well worth, I mean, 20,000 gold I think is a fair price for this tank actually, just because it's so strong. I don't play it very often these days just because I think it's just too strong. But if you just want to have fun, crazy fun, and boost that win rate a little bit when you're having a rough day, this is definitely a tank you want to have in your garage. Like it on the other hand, yeah, I mean it's one of those Halloween tanks with the Helsing and the Drac, but I think it's just not great. Good gun depression, doesn't have a crew, so you can't injure the crew or anything like that. It's like a Tiger, and the Tiger is a very strong tank in tier 7, so this is around that level. It is strong, but I just don't think it's fun. So I would say, realistically, I think you'd probably have to pay 6K for this. I don't think you get it less than that because it's just a rare tank. But I don't think it's as good. I admit it's better than the Pharaoh, but it's still not that good. Not that much fun. Strong though, for sure. Annihilator. Oh, this tank. I mean, I picked it up for a steal. I think it cost me $12 when it first came out, and if you didn't pick it up then, I feel so sorry for you because again, this is another tank you're gonna have to gamble for. But how much would I say? I mean, I think 20K would be a fair price for this tank just because it's so dang strong. That speed boost, the gun, it's divine. It is a better Helsing. It's up there with the Smasher as the two strongest tanks in the game, bar none, really. I would say you've got to have this, but you're going to have to gamble for it. It's never going to come in the store for cash because people will just pay for it no matter what the price is. It might be an easy way for Wargaming to make money, but then the game would be ruined because you just have them running around everywhere. So it would not be fun. So they have to protect, the gameplay. I understand that. That's a shame that you didn't pick it up back then, and it's also a shame that if you want to get it, you're going to have to gamble for it. Should you gamble? No. I don't recommend it. The chances of getting it sometimes are very, very slow, especially these sort of tanks. But if you really, 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 really want to get it, then that's the only way you're going to have to do it. Moving on to this tank, no, don't get it. It was the first tank to have that cool auto reloader system, but it's just a meh tank. Solid meh. I wouldn't pay for this. Sorry. Nope, 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 nope. This tank, on the other hand, I would still pay for. Why? Because it's the opposite of the Smasher. It's all about the mobility. The Smasher is all about power. This one is all about speed. It just gets around the map so well. Put them in a platoon, and you have an awesome, awesome platoon, and so much fun. Guaranteed win? No, but you can earn tons of credits. You can obliterate tier 6s, no problem. Pen on this tank is a little bit iffy, so you're gonna have to get around those heavier armored tanks. But I mean, this tank is the one tank that can do it. It's really, really, really awesome. Realistically, you're gonna have to pay probably 10K. I don't think it's gonna get less than 10K. I mean, if it's ever in auctions, it's out at, if it's in the game, let's say they put it up for 10K, it's out at 10K because everybody wants it. Just it won't stay in the shop for long. So I mean the auctions. So now this tank you pick up for free right now. So do so. It's a good tank. Don't pay for it. Just get it for free and slowly earn the credits you need to, like the what do you call it, the currency to level it up. Decent tank right now, but I haven't got it fully loaded, so I will do a reload. I will do a review of it once I have done that. The Skoda T45, it's a solid tank. It's a decent tank, but would I pay for it? No. If you have to have it, it is a tier 7 tank, and you can get some tier 7s around 4,000 gold. I would say 3,000 gold is all I'd pay for this. Sorry. Decent tank, but no, no thanks. This tank, I would pay gold for it. It is a solid tank. I wouldn't pay that much for it because it's not that exciting, but it is a definitely solid tank. However, there have been 2 chances to win this tank absolutely free. I picked it up the first time, picked it up the second time, got some gold. Thank you, Wargaming. Much appreciated. Great tank. I would say this would be worth about 4K if you had to pay for it, if you wanted to pick it up. If you're watching this video and oh, I really want this tank. 4K I think would be about fair. This tank, on the other hand, no, don't bother. It's just get the Leo in the tech tree. It's almost identical. Does look okay. Camo's not bad. No, 2.5K maybe for this one. Sorry, not really a fan. This tank I am a fan, and you can pick it up for free in the esports events. So if you get enough currency and ratings or whatever, or something like that, you can pick up this tank for free. Might take a while, but is it a tank you want to have in garage? Yeah, I do think so. Why? First of all, 6 shells in the magazine. Wow, unique. It's got no armor, so yeah, don't expect to be able to carry teams easily, but you can cause a lot of trouble. Use your speed, get around, and if you get behind a tank that's just fired, boom, 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 they are gonna not like you. But the reason I got this tank in boss mode or some other game modes, uprising, I mean, 6 shells, if you can, level up your tank, this tank can be crazy strong. So definitely get this tank. I would say 4,000 gold. No, because I think I picked it up for less than that. 3,000 gold would be a fair price for this tank. This tank is in the store for 4,000 gold, and I think it's worth about that price, 3,500 maybe. The reason you want this tank is going to teach you how to play light tanks. It's got great camo. The pen on the heat on this is divine. You can rip through most heavy tanks, even frontally. That is, I wish the Chinese light tanks had this ability. This one is the only one that does. Yeah, so this is the best light tank in tier 7, I believe, I would say that. I think that's fair. And it's definitely one of the best light tanks in the game. Yeah, and it looks cool too. This tank on the this tank on the other hand, I would say is not really worth it. I picked it up for free. Thank you, Wargaming again. 2,500 maximum. Why? Because you can just play the Bulldog. It's a fun tank, but it's not strong. But in a platoon, can be crazy fun. Now, this is a tank you want to have in your garage. I missed it all the years it was in the garage. I never picked it up. Sorry, in the shop. I never picked it up, so I thought it was horrible. I played against it. It could rip right through it, no problem. I thought this is horrible. My friend picked it up in a crate. He just got it for free. And he's like, played. He said, oh my God, this tank is great. I'm like, what? No. And we played together. I saw him track Tiger 2 and just rip right through him because the Tiger 2 was trying to escape. He tracked him, and the Tiger 2 couldn't shoot back because he was behind the wall at that time, and he just ripped through him. This tank is a sneaky little tank and a great pickup. 3,000 gold, I think, is a very fair price for this tank. It is old, but play it like a heavy. Push forward with your heavies. Just don't sit in the back with this tank. It's not a tank you want to sit in the back. The AT-15, one of the biggest surprises in this game for me. It is a strong tank. This tank, on the other hand, I've won it for free twice. First time I got it, played it, wasn't a huge fan, sold it, won it again, so I kept it. It is a sneaky tank, decent, tier 7, but I would only pay 2.5k gold. Yeah, it's not that great. IS-2, I mean, it's an okay tank, solid armor, solid gun, easy to win with, basic playstyle, but not that much fun. I guess maybe 3k gold for this. The camo does look good. So this is in the store right now. I think it's for 3,500. I think 3,000 or 2,500 would be a fair price for this. It's so old. It's not that strong these days. The pen is great. The camo is fantastic, and it can ram those lightly armored tanks and do some serious damage. I would say this tank you've got to have in your garage, but at what price? As I said, 2,500 I think is a fairer price, but I don't think they'll ever put it up for that price, or for now anyway. Maybe 3,000 you might find in the store sometime, so keep your eye out for that. This tank hasn't been sold for gold, I don't believe yet. It was in one of those special draw things where you can gamble for it. Now those draws are absolutely horrible. However, the first two chances are absolutely worth it because you have a tiny, tiny chance to pick up a tier 7 or tier 8 tank for 50 gold. You might as well go for it. Just pick it up in the daily videos, and risk it. Go for it. You never know, but don't spend over that. That's my opinion. What's this worth? It is a little bit unique. I mean, it is unique because it's got 3 shells. It's a little different. I think it's a fun tank. I got it for just credits, so it didn't really hurt that much. I had a ton of credits. I would say 6k gold would be a fair price for this. It's just because it's a newer tank. 5k? Maybe 5k? 5k. Let's go with 5k. This tank I would say is solid pass. I mean, it's like a tiger, nothing special, nothing right home about. I'd take the IS-2 over this. I think it just looks better. I wish this had a cool camo. Might change my mind then, but until then, nope. 2.5k. This tank, no, don't ever buy it. You can win it in the daily events, crate things. I picked it up twice. I couldn't believe I got it the first time, and then a few months later I picked it up again. I'm like, oh my gosh, very hard to get, but just if you just open those crates enough, you might get it. It's not a great tank. I wouldn't pay anything for this. It's just not really competitive in today's meta at all. Sorry. This tank is a tank I think you should pick up. The Kunze-Panzer, I think is worth around 3,500 gold. It is very much like a dragon, fast, good gun. It is competitive. And I think a tank you want to have in your garage. So 3,500 gold, 4,000 around that area. And I think you got a solid tank. Got it for free. Thank you, Wargaming. Very much appreciated. Also got this for free. Not that great. I would just get the Hellcat in tier 6. It's more fun tier for tier. It's okay. How much did I pay for it? I don't know. 2.5k gold, because as I said, I got it for free, so I don't think you should spend your gold on a tank, really, that everybody's able to get for free. Anyway, moving on to tier 8. Now, tier 8 is where you want to really be spending most of your time if you're playing gold and premium tanks. Why? Because you have a ton of credits. That's why when I don't really want to do anything serious, I just want to have some fun. I play tier 8 or tier 6, tier 7, around that area, but tier 8 mainly because I can earn a little more credits. So I've got a ton of tanks in that range. I'll tell you the ones I picked up for free and how much I paid for many of them. This one I paid about 8k gold. It was in the store, might have been 8.5. I think it's a solid tank. I would say it's getting a little bit older now, but still can do the business. Gun is a troll. Armor is very solid though, and when the gun works, it works well. I think it's worth around 8k. It's kind of a stronger tier 8 tank and not that old, so definitely a tank you want to pick up if you like heavy playstyle. Himmel 1951 is a little bit older, just slightly. It feels kind of worse Emil, a worse Emil, because Emil's got better armor, but it's lost its mobility. This one has the mobility, but it doesn't have the armor. Can do well against those weaker caliber guns, lower caliber guns, smaller caliber guns, I'm sorry. Lower pen, that's what I was thinking. 6.5k gold, I think would be a fair price for this. Is it a tank you need? No, not really. It's okay. This tank though it's better than the Pantera in tier 8. It is a fun tank. It's one of the most agile tanks in the game and very, very fun, but the pen is a little bit weak. So choose your targets wisely. Don't try and go for the Tiger 2s frontally. Get around them, cause damage that way. I would say 7.5k gold, just because it's a little older than the Skoda, and it's maybe tougher for new players to play, but I think 7.5, around that area, 7.5k gold would be a fair price for this tank. Again, this one I picked up in a snow globe, so thank you very much for naming. This one I paid 12k for, if you can believe that. I thought it was the Skoda T56 because I didn't realize we had anything else in the game, but I forgot about this tank. So when I got it, I'm like, what is this tank? It's so fast compared to I thought it was a heavy tank. What is this? It's very much like an Emil. It's got a little bit, I said, less armor, better speed, but plays almost identical. 6.5k gold. It's not a must-have tank. This tank is in the store right now. If you don't have it, pick it up because 4.5k gold for tier 8. Heck yeah, I'm sold. It's a solid tier 8. It's got armor, it's got good, decent gun, got good alpha, it's got decent mobility. Surprisingly, it can do a little bit of everything. Go with the meds, go with the heavies. Yeah, solid tank, 4.5k gold. Get it, get it, get it. That's a screaming deal. Probably one of the best deals I've seen in the store for ages. It's also available in the tank section for 7k gold, which is absolutely pants. Don't spend that. Just get in the special event, Lost and Found, 4.5k gold. Yeah, I really wish Wargaming gave people their gold back, because they shouldn't have put it in the store at the same time. That's ridiculous, and that's unfair to those people who bought it just recently. The Soma, on the other hand, yeah, it plays very much like the Tech Tree tank. Nothing really special. Before it had more armor, but I think the AMX 50-100 has been buffed, so I think they're pretty much identical now. I don't want to bother digging into the stats. My friend did very well in this tank, and he really likes it. 7k maybe, 6.5 I think is more realistic. It's very much, similar playstyle to the other, Skoda and the Emil, but a little bit of armor. Um, 6.5 maybe on the outside, 7k. I forgot. Did I pick this up for free? I can't remember. This is a tank. No, you shouldn't spend your money on it. No. It's hard to play. It's not a carry tank. You can watch my review of this tank in the videos. But this tank helped me become a better player, and I do love the camo on this. It just looks great. But maybe 2k. Yeah, don't get this tank. This tank is a popular tank for pros. It's tougher for newer players. You gotta watch the reload. It plays very much like the SP1C, so it's losing its bit of its uniqueness, but it does look nice. I would say 7k, 7.5k would be a fair price for this tank. It's just not, I think, a carry tank for most players. That's why I give the Skoda the edge. Moving on to this tank. I wanted to say one thing. The Barask is one tank that I think every pro should get, but every newer player should just pass on. Same thing with this tank. I think every pro should get it. Why? It's unique. There's no tank like it. Yes, I know there are a lot of tier 6 tanks that play similarly, but it's in tier 6. This is tier 8. The gun hits hard. It does smack hard, and it can do a little bit of everything. I like this tank a lot, actually. I think I picked it up for 5.5k gold. That's the price you got to be looking at this tank, and I think it will be worth it around there. As is this tank, the Lorraine. It is in the store right now. Just like the M4A1 and the Barask and the Lorraine, these are not for newer players just because they don't have much armor and they're easy to be killed if you don't know what you're doing. But if you know how to play, these 3 tanks are actually a lot of fun. And right now, Lorraine is in the store for 5.5k gold. I think that's also a very good deal for a fun tank. Just wait for your enemy to shoot, then push in 1, 2, 3, maybe 4, or just backing up after 3 and reload. You can do some crazy damage with the speed of this tank and just understanding when your targets have fired. A fun tank. I definitely think you should have this in your garage if you are a decent player or good player. This tank is one tank you want to have in your garage. Why? Because of what it did to the game. It was one of the most OP tanks in the game. I don't think it's ever been sold for gold, but if you could get it in the garage, maybe 12k or 10k. 10k I think is what it's probably worth nowadays, just because look at this camo. It is fan-freaking-tastic. Armor in some situation is unpennable by most tanks, even higher tier. The problem with this tank is low hit points. So I've charged in. I thought, okay, no problem. We're going to win this game. Got hit by 2 tanks. It was game over for me. That was it. I was gone. 500, 600, poof. I mean, my health just vaporized. So yeah, be careful. Play this as a sniper to begin and push in later. You can really have some good bounces and good games in this tank. So definitely a tank you want in your garage, but unfortunately, they won't sell it for cheap, I don't think. If you can get it for under 10k, yeah, definitely pick it up. 8k would be an awesome deal for this tank, but I just don't think they'll put it that low. So this tank, again, I got it for free, I think, in an event. It's a pretty good IS variant. The reverse is what makes it unique. I wouldn't really pay more than, if you've got to have this tank in your garage, 4k. I mean, it's okay, 5k I guess because it's a tier 8, but not a tank I think you really need in your garage unless you've got to have it.
This tank is a good tank. It's not as strong as when it first came into the game. It is not. Don't play it like a medium, play it like a heavy, but beware the armor is not quite heavy level, so you will get pinned. You have to be careful about that. So just don't push in too aggressively against the heavies. But the gun smacks hard. It's like a Chimera, just not as good. I think if you can get this for 6.5k gold, I think this is a deal. Yeah, I would pick it up for 6.5k gold for sure. Definitely one tank I think you should have in your garage. This tank in the garage, nah, not really. I mean, 5k, 5.5k gold, that's what I think this tank is worth. It's very similar to the Tech Tree. This is slightly better, I admit. I like it, but I just don't think it's a tank most people should spend their gold on. I think you'll be able to get this for 5k if it comes in the store. The G Store right now, or the last time I saw it in the store was I think 10k around there. That's overpriced. I think 8k is fair for this tank. It's one of the newer tanks. It's rare. It's like an RHM with double two shells in the magazine. It's a good tank. Yeah, my friend really likes this tank, and I've had some great games in it. Solid tank. Action X, definitely one you want to have in your garage. Why? Because it's got two cool camos. The armor, hull down capability, fabulous. Can really cause trouble to enemy teams if you can get rid of some of the tanks that are your threats early on. Other tanks will really struggle against this tank. So yeah, this is a tank you'll have in your garage. I think you can be able to get this for around 7k. Now, I think that's a fair price for this tank. I would definitely pick it up for that price. 7.5 maybe on the outside. And this tank too, very similar playstyle, a little faster, great turret armor. I think I got this for free from a Wargame event, so thank you again. But if you have to pick it up for gold, I think this is worth around 7.5k gold because it is one of the tanks that could carry potential. Just like the Action X, carry potential is high. So yeah, this is a tank you want to have in your garage. The Defender Mark One also has carry potential. 4 shells in the magazine, great turret armor, awesome. Along with the Centurion and the Action X, definitely tank one you have in the garage. I got it in the auction. I think it cost me 7k gold. I think 7.5 is maybe what it comes into the store for. I think it's worth it for that price because it is quite a strong tank. Next time it's in the store, it might be less than that. So keep your eyes out for that tank. And the Chimera, this I think last time I saw in the store was 8,000. I think it's worth about 7.5k. Why do I say that? Because the Shark came to the store for 7.5k gold a ways back, and I think that's a fair price for that tank. It is very strong, just like this tank. I give Skoda a little bit, Skoda T56, slightly higher, level, simply because it's just newer tank. But I think maybe next time, I think Wargame is putting the price of tier 8 tanks around 7.5 or 8,000 gold. So you're just gonna have to look for those times where they drop it a little bit below. This is definitely a tank you want in your garage. Very strong tank. Around 7.5k gold, I think is a very fair price and one you want to get in your garage. This tank, no, don't get it. Get the ISU 152. It's better in every way. It's just more fun. Yeah, I do okay in it, but it's just not great. So don't spend your money. Got it for free. So not complaining. This tank is a good tank. It's a little bit old now. I think 6.5k gold would be a fair price, but realistically, I think you're probably gonna have to pay around 7.5k gold for this tank. I would say that's slightly overpriced, but it can be a carry tank just because of the great camo and very solid gun and good mobility as well. Really like this tank, fun tank, and it looks awesome with that camo. So that gives it a little boost as well. This tank was one of the first tanks to have that cool camo, but it looks pathetic now because it's just a star, yay. This used to be the tier 8 premium tank because it had the special matchmaking ability of only fighting one tier up, which gave it a huge advantage over other tanks that had to fight tier 10s. Nowadays, as you know, everybody fights just one tier up and down. It's still a solid tank. Tier 7s will struggle with it if they've got lower pen guns. It's okay. You can have good games in it, and it'll make you a ton of money. But I wouldn't say this is a must-have tank. It's going to be cheap in the garage. I guess 5k or less, maybe a little bit cheaper, maybe even. Do you need it in your garage? No. But yeah, I mean, if it's your first gold tank, yeah, I guess 5k gold will be okay. And this tank, I think you pick it up for about 5k, and this is a tank you want in your garage. Why? Because it feels better than a KV4. The gun is super fast reload. Armor's very solid against most tanks. You can ram. It's a bully tank. It's quite fast for a super heavy. So I would say this is definitely a tank I have in the garage. I would pay around 5k for this and not blink an eye. This tank is a tank you definitely want to have in your garage. Why? Because of its price, 1.5k gold. There's no tier 8 tank ever in the game at this price ever. I'll tell you one tank that was very cheap, but this is the lowest I've seen in the game ever. Auctions, bar none, this is the cheapest, and it's solid. Decent armor, decent gun, and this camo looks fan-freaking-tastic. I love the camo, the rusted look, shiny. Oh, love it. Never play it, but I absolutely love this tank for the price and its look. If you don't have any gold tanks, yeah, get this one. Just get your clan up to tier 10 clan, supply, whatever thing, and then get this tank for sure. Earn you a ton of credits. But yeah, that's all it's worth because you can't get it for cheaper. So this tank, on the other hand, it's lost a lot of its, OPness. It came into the game. It was unique. It was fast. It was powerful. Everybody liked it. Double platoon was very strong. But nowadays, it's probably one of the worst. It's maybe the worst defender tank. I'm not a huge fan of it. Can do well, no problem. Solid tier, 8 tank. So I'd say 5k along with the IS-6. If I had to choose between IS-6 and this, take this. Yeah, but yeah, not a great tank anymore, unfortunately. Oh, sad day. The Object 252, yeah, you want this in your garage. Why? Because you can get some crazy bounces. Yeah, I know a lot of people will be able to pen you now because they know how to defeat it, but it still gets crazy bans. And down, when it comes down to the last 2 or 3 tanks, some of those tanks will have real trouble penning this tank. From the back, from the rear, from the side, you'll bounce, wiggle. Crazy armor. Gun is a bit trolled, but very solid tank. Price, I picked it up for, I think, 5.5k gold. I think it's a screaming deal at that price, even today. Get it. Very powerful tank, even for weaker players, just because the armor can be so effective. And this tank, it's okay. I got it for free. I wouldn't spend gold on this. When I came to the store, oh, it's got this cool mechanism, shoots out a shell, and big whoop. Who cares? I care. Can I carry games? Can I kill enemy targets? Can I be competitive? And it's okay. Yeah, it's a tier. It's an I guess I wouldn't pay for it because, as I said, I got it for free. And it's just not that fun. It does look kind of cool with this camo that I put on it, but no, I would just say solid pass. It's in the store right now for 5k. No, don't pay 5k gold for this. Go for the IS-3 if you must. IS-3D, can't go for that. Not this one. This one I think is realistically, 4k maximum. This tank, the STG, if it just had better pen, I think it would be a much better tank. But trying to manufacture your shots in this tank is tough because it's so freaking low. Yeah, enemy will struggle to pen you because you're so low and you can hide, but you'll struggle to be able to hit them because you can't shoot them. You can't even see them. So I like it, actually. It's a challenging tank, and I like to be challenged. I just wish it had a little more pen. I think it would be a very desirable tank then. But for now, I'm going to put this at, because it's not really a competitive tank. 4K. Sorry. If you can't really, compete against other tanks, you gotta, get pushed down. This tank is in the store for 6k. I think it's worth that price just because it's one of the newer tanks, only 2 years old. It's got great reverse speed, 35 kilometers. It's amazing. The pen is decent. Just make sure you use calibrated shells. Yeah, and get around tanks. Don't try and shoot those super heavy tanks frontally. You will not succeed. Had some rough games early on, but it is a fun tank and a unique tank. So that's why I think it's worth around 6k. And it is in the store for 6k gold, I believe. So get it. This tank, another tank, my friend said, oh, it's an awesome tank. I said, what, are you kidding? It's horrible. I'm playing against it was so easy. Just, circle death it or get behind it or just, aim in. But let me tell you, as a sniper, this tank is awesome. You can rip through heavy tanks, you rip through medium tanks. Just their health, their hit points just melt away. Fabulous tank, worth 5k, and it's off in the store for about that price. Get it. Awesome tank, surprisingly. This tank, on the other hand, it is tough to play. It's a sneaky J Panther. It's faster. It's got faster reload. It's got less armor. It's not really an assault tank, but you could play it that way if you know the enemy lineup and you know how to play it. But I would say just hide in the bush and let your laser gun go to work. A fun tank, but it's not really a carry tank. So I'm going to say around 6K would be a fair price for this tank, even though it's not that old. This tank is a little bit older, not that old, but it's not new either. So I think it's been around for 4 years now. It is a good tank, but it is quite big, and people just HE it to high heaven. Not quite as good as the SU-130. If you ask me, I always like the SU-130 better, but people for some reason like this tank more. I think the gun is better, but that's about it for this tank. I guess 6K, 6.5K gold again. That's my kind of area where I think it's not really a great tank, but it's a fun tank. So 6.5K gold. Remember, Shark was 7.5K gold, so this is not as good as Shark. Drop it down a little bit. E75, got it for free. Thank you very much. Solid tank. Yeah, I mean, it's a heavy tank if you like that playstyle. How much is it worth? I don't know. I guess 5K gold. It's not unique in any way. Just you can play the E75 in tier 9, which is much stronger and much more fun. But it's okay. I mean, you can carry games. You can bounce a lot of shells. Tier 7s will struggle to pen you. Yeah, it's a good tank. I just don't think it's great. So that's why I'm saying 5K gold. It might be a 6K, and that's up to you to decide if you want to pay it, because it's just not super old. So don't know what it was in the store for last. This tank is a bit of a meh tank. It was great in gravity mode, and it can still be great, but with that jumpy boost thing, it's kind of annoying. Used to love it. Love this tank when I found out how good it was in that mode. But nowadays, I would say 4K gold, just a silly tank. But you can play the tech tree variant, the VK 100. So I wouldn't say this is a must-have tank, but it's decent actually. It's surprisingly, you know, at one point I was up to almost 70%, and then dropped down a little bit. Now it's I think 62%. Had a bad run with it, unfortunately. But I mean, just be aggressive, take a few hits, do some serious damage, and that's your game. The Luva, a classic, and this is the tank you want to have in your garage. Why? Because it can earn you a crap ton of credits, and it's still competitive today. The gun is a laser. You can play it as a sniper, which I don't usually say for a heavy tank, but it can be played that way. Some pros did play it that way back when, pushed in later on. Definitely a tank you want to have in your garage. I think it will come in the store for 5K. I think that's fair, and it's one of the better tanks to pick up now. Even though it's old, it's still very competitive. The Rhino, it's in the store now for 8.5K gold. No, 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 but it does look great. Man, it looks fantastic. I mean, I want it in my garage. Look at that. Yes, 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 but it's very mediocre. I would say 6.5K is fair just because it's a newer tank, but realistically, price-wise, I wouldn't want to pay more than 5.5K gold for it just because it's not a very strong tank. If it had a little better armor, I would want to boost that up, but yeah, not a great tank, unfortunately. This tank is also a tough tank to play. Some people used to love this, but nowadays it's too many big guns in the game. It's hard to play this. It is a very, very fast tank, but you can get ripped to shreds. I would say 5K would be fair price for this. Why? Because it's just a hard tank to carry with. But, I mean, don't get me wrong. It can be a fun tank. If you like light tanks, this is a tank for you. 5K? Yeah, pick it up. This tank is a good tank, surprisingly. It's one of the better defenders. Not the best, the second best, but very, very solid tank. Yeah, I think you can carry in this tank, so I would be willing to pay around 6.5K gold for it. It is stronger than the Emil or the Skoda for me. I'm surprised about that because I thought it would be worse, but no, it's not. It is a very solid tank, and I think worthy of a place in your garage. The Chrysler K. Now, this tank is unique. It's not a carry tank because the pen is a little bit iffy. It is fast, and I think it's great to go against mediums with this tank. They will really struggle to pen this tank sometimes. I would say, I think I picked it up for 5K. I would pick it up for 5K. I think 5K is a fair price for this tank. Yeah, it's a little bit old, but unique. This tank, I paid quite a lot for this. I think 10K for that. but I think this is a tank you must have in your garage. A very strong tier 8, one of the strongest tanks in tier 8 right now. I'd put it as number 2 on my list recently, and I still think it's a great tank. So the only thing is, the pen is not as good as you might think for such a strong tank. So I would say it's worth, I guess, 8.5k gold, but it's still new, so I don't think you're going to be able to get it for less than 10k. So keep your eye out for it, but it is a strong tank. This tank, on the other hand, is not a fun tank to play. It is dull. It can do the business because the armor is very strong against those low caliber guns. It's not a tank you must have in your garage, but I would say 5k. Yeah, I guess so. You might want to pick it up for that price. But I'd pick the Louvre over this. Why? Because I think it's a better tank and it makes a ton more credits. The Shark, since it was in the store for 7.5k, I'm going to say it's worth 7.5k gold. Why? Because of the troll armor. The gun is solid. I don't know why, but it feels like they nerfed the gun reload or something because it doesn't seem as strong as it once was. I don't know what they've done. It seems like a sneaky nerf in my opinion, but the armor is still very troll, and hull down it can be very tough to deal with. 7.5k gold, sure, get it. Yeah. I would pick this over the Skoda T56 because it can do more on the battlefield. But as I said, this tank is a little bit older, and I've seen it in the store for 7.5k gold. That's why I'm giving it that price. Otherwise, I would say this is worth about 8.5k gold. However, I've seen it in the store for less, so don't pay more than that, in my opinion. But it's a better tank. Um, this tank, I mean, it's identical to the tech tree. Got it free, well, spending credits, so didn't really cost me anything. I had a ton of them as well. Um, it's okay. Would I pay for it? No. But I mean, if you must have it in your garage, I mean, it's worth 5k gold, I guess. It's a solid tier 8. This tank, yeah, I don't know. It's been buffed recently, but it just doesn't feel as good as the Luva. I've never been a huge fan of this tank. I mean, it's okay. It can make you a ton of credits. So I think it was my second gold tank in the game. Played a ton of it because I needed to earn a ton of credits to buy all the tanks way back when. Um, yeah, no, I would not pick this up. Sad to say, I don't think it's so. Since I said the Louvre is 5k, this doesn't feel as competitive. I would say 4k max for this tank. So sad to say. Sorry. Sheriff, I think I picked this up for 7.5k gold a while back. I thought it was a good tank. I don't think it is really. I think it's okay. So I'd say 6.5k gold would be a fair price. It feels, around maybe 6k actually. It doesn't feel as strong as the Emil or the Skoda T57. It's a bit meh. I wish it was a little bit, more agile or had a little bit better armor. Something. Just needs. I feel maybe the Pershing is a better tank in the tech tree, but it does look good. I mean, I do like it. I do think you've got to get it because it looks awesome in your garage, but I don't play it that much. Hmm. Like this tank. This tank needs something. Give it a buff for goodness sake. It's just so old, and it is a tech tree. A credit grinder, but it's a solid pass. I mean, I wouldn't pay more than 4k for this. Like the T34, they're just not fun tanks, and they are not really competitive on the battlefield, sadly. So 4k is all I'd be willing to pay for that. But speaking of a tank that cannot really be competitive on battlefield, this is a horrible tank. I paid 2.5k gold. It's the second cheapest tier 8 tank I have. But do I think it's worth that? No. 2k gold is probably what I think it's worth. I wish Wargaming would buff this thing. For goodness sake, buff it. Give it better armor. Give it better speed. Give it a better gun. In fact, all three of those, just slightly. And I think it would be a much better tank and, worthy of a place in your garage. But at its current state, no, don't spend your money on it. I got it just because I wanted to see how bad it was. I was not disappointed. I mean, it's bad. T55A, it's in the store for 9k? Heck no. One of my subs said he picked it up for 5.5k gold. I would say get it at 5.5k gold if you can. But it's not a tank that people want. It's in the auctions often and it will drop in price because it's not popular. Just get a T54, it's better and it's got a way cooler armor. This tank, got it for free. Again, thank you Wargaming for a tier 9 tank. Yes, yes, yes. It is a great tank. You can never be able to pick it up free again, but if it was in the store, I think 8k, just because it is competitive and it is a fun tank. It's got those tungsten shells. I think it's worth picking up. Solid tank. Because it's a tier 9, you're probably going to have to pay around 9,000 gold. I don't know if it's worth that. I think it's worth 8k, but I don't think it'll be in the store for that. So, yeah, it's just my feeling. The AMX 31 or Protector, what is it? Maybe Prototype? Yeah, Prototype, sorry. I love the camo. It's gaudy, it's icky. I thought, oh my god, it looks terrible. I just love it now. I just absolutely love it. It's unique, very agile tank. Along ups, I think the Drac is the most mobile tank in the game, followed by maybe and controllable. Understand? I would say the Progetto and maybe this tank, and then maybe the Kunzepanzer. Those are the four most agile tanks in the game. Great tank for that. I think I saw this in store a while back for 7.5k gold. That is a great price for this tank, tier 9. Yeah, but realistically, I mean, most times tier 9 will come in store for around 9,000. I think it's overpriced at that price, but I would pay 8k for this if I really wanted it. Yeah, I think it's a good tank. K91. It's always in the auctions for about. I think I picked this up for 9k or 8k last year. Surprisingly good. I I was like, whoa, this tank is awesome. Maybe 2 years ago. Um, it's a little bit old now, but it is competitive. I would say, yeah, 9k is really what you're gonna have to pay for this. Do I think it's worth 9k? No, probably 8k, but I don't think you'll ever see in the store for that price. So, maybe 9k. I say, you know, around that price, 8, 9k, I would pick this up. It's a solid tier 9 for sure. And this tank is great. I paid 12k and I didn't blink an eye. I love it. The camo is crazy and unique and different, and it can do a little bit of everything. One of the best tanks in tier 9, and I would say this is worth 10k, 10 to 12k. Unfortunately, it is a very solid tank and one you want to have in the garage if you can pick it up. This tank, I got it for free. Thank you, Working Me, again for another tier 9. I love these clan events where they give you a tank for free in tier 9. Hopefully, they're going to do another one later on this year. But yeah, is it a tank you must have in your garage? No. Why? Because it's almost identical to the WT and it's not really unique. It's a fun tank though. What would I pay for it? Because it was a free tank. I mean, I would pay maybe 6k if I've got to have this in my garage, but I don't think I would. Just go with the WT. This tank is unique though. KPF. It's old, that's for sure. I think I paid. I think I paid around 8k for. No, 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 no. I think I paid 1,500 gold for this because I got it as part of a crate. I had the parts, and I couldn't get. I had like 80 parts, and I couldn't get the last 20. But then I went in a crate. I think I got one of those like collect them all crates. I was like, whoa, thank you. And it's surprisingly good. I would say this is worth around 8.5 to 9,000 gold. Again, that's the going price for those tanks. I think it's worth it. Yeah, it's one of the better tier 9 premium tanks. I would say the object is the best, followed by the K91, then the 50T prototype, and the KPZ70 are about on par, as well as the AMX 1 or prototype. Moving on to tier 10. Um, this is a tank you want in your garage, but it's so new. It's only 6 months old, so realistically, they're not going to put this in the store for cheap. It was a snow globe for goodness sake, so I think you're gonna have to pay 22,000 if it comes to the store. Do I think it's worth that price? No, I don't think any tier 10 is worth that price. So I think at 17.5k gold, I would definitely consider this tank. Even 20k gold, maybe on the outside. It is a fun tank. And unique. I mean, it plays like a Cent 7.1, but yeah, tier 10. I love the Cent, so I'm thankful I got it for kind of free. Well, not free. I mean, I paid gold to get those special crates at Christmas. And I got on the 10th crate, so not complaining. Thank you very much. The AMX 30B, if it just was buffed slightly, I think it would be a very solid tank, but don't pay more than 15k for this tank. I mean, hopefully you can get in the auction for maybe 13k or 12k maybe, if you're lucky. This tank is very similar to the AMX 30B, not quite a tank that is great, but it could be. But it's a decent, middle of the range medium tank. I love it. I love the camo. I think it's awesome. I wish the AMX 30 had a cool camo. I don't like it. But this tank, I do love its camo. I think 15K is what I'd be willing to pay for this. You might be lucky to get this in the auction for around 13K because I don't think people will bid on it. It might drop below 15K. So the AMX 30B and the 121 you might get for, I guess, quote unquote steals. I picked up the Badger for I think 11K, and I thought that was a steal. That was a time where people didn't like it, so it wasn't selling out. Got in the auction. I think now the secret's out that it is a very strong tank. It was buffed recently. Definitely a tank you want in your garage. I think you'd have to realistically pay between 15 to 17K, 17.5K, and I think at that price, I guess it's fair. It's very competitive and can be very, very strong. The Chieftain Mark 6 is in the garage right now for 15K gold. Go get it. That is the price I think it is worth. I think it's worth 17.5K gold, and it's one of my favorite tanks in the game. It just looks so dang good. Good job wargaming on that. So go get it. What are you waiting for? 15K to me it's a steal. This tank is a little bit newer and a little bit stronger than the Chieftain Mark 6, but it's not as much fun in my opinion. I think it's a stronger tank, but I just prefer the Mark 6. I would say this is worth around 17.5K gold because it is quite strong. But if you could get it for less than that, yeah, go for it. If you like the medium playstyle, this is the tank you want to get. Why? Because it's agile. It's low slung, very competitive tank. If you know what you're doing, some people do great in it, some people not so much. So you've got to understand how to play those meds, but I guess around 17.5K gold. It is a very competitive tank. So, as is this tank, it's one of those tanks everybody wanted in their garage, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. It was hard to get. I think I got it for 20K, and I was like, okay, sold. And I absolutely love this tank. It just looks the business. Yes, it's lost a bit of its OP-ness, but it's still a tank you want to have in your garage. I would pick this over the 907 just because it looks so dang good with everything. The equipment or what is it? Stuff on the side. Oh, I just love it. It looks so good. So 17.5K gold. Get it. The KPZ 50 ton. I love this tank. I love it. Again, it's a newer tank, so you won't be able to get it for cheap. I think if you can get it for 17.5K gold, you're getting a steal. Just because it's a newer tank, that's all. But is it super OP? No. But it's a fun tank. I really like it. The Concept 1B. It is a strong tank. I've seen a lot of people have great games in this. Very powerful if you know what you're doing. I would say, again, 17.5K would be fair price now because it's a little bit older. Well, it's not that old, I guess. But I think in the store they might put it for around 20K just because it's known to be a strong tank. I think it's around 17.5 is what I'd be willing to pay for it. And this tank is definitely a tank you want in your garage. It was unloved, and I got it. I think I got it for free, or maybe I got it in the auction for I think 13K or something like that. And I wanted this tank. I thought it's gonna be a fun tank, and I've not been disappointed. One point I was 69%, dropped down to I think 63 right now, but it is a strong tank. I like this tank. It's great to be played against mediums. A lovely tank actually. Big fan of this tank. I think you can get this for maybe even 15K. It's not that popular tank, but maybe they put it for 17.5 because it's not that old. So that price, I don't know. I guess so. But if you're not an experienced player, it's maybe not as good as maybe a Super Punk. The M60, it's not as good as the Tech Tree. Why? Because it's I don't know, twice as big. It's huge. Not that big, but it's a much bigger tank and it doesn't look quite as good. I do like the camo on it. It is unique with this giant thing at the front, whatever the heck that is, the Cyclops thing. Yeah, I mean, it's a decent tank. I would take this over the AMX 30B and the 121B, but the 121B does have the speed boost, which I do like. But this tank has, I think it's more not I was gonna say I think you can use this in more different in more situations, because of its gun depression. It's more versatile, I guess. I like this tank, but price It's old, so 15K is what I'll be maximum. But I think you might be able to get this for around. I think I got this for 10K in the auctions, and I was like, okay, I'll take that. Thank you very much. So yeah, if you can get it for 10K, yeah, but in the store, it probably come for around I think 15K. Don't think it's worth that. Hmm. Oh, I forgot these ones. This tank I got for free. Thank you very much, Wargaming. It's okay. You know, feels like a Persian tier 7. Not that strong, but it can do the business. Hold down. Had some great games in it. I would be willing to pay. It's tier 7, so 2.5k gold would be okay for this price. For this tank, would be an okay price for this tank. And these are my two tanks that I just picked up recently. And oh my god, let me tell you something. This and the Object 274, which I picked up in the event that's going on right now. After about 30 games in both of them, my win rate 28%. I'm not kidding. I could not believe it. I was just hitting dirt. I was, being trolled, bouncing. I was like, oh my God, what is going on here? Bad luck with teams, AFKs, everything was going wrong for me. I was like, but now things are looking better. I've got up to 58% right now. I should have it around 68 in a few weeks, I guess. I think it's a very strong tier 8 tank. Make sure you use calibrated shells on this so you get that extra pen. It's a strong tank. I can definitely feel it. Just make sure you aim in because the gun handling is horrible. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. But definitely top 10 tier 8 tank, I think. This tank, on the other hand, not as strong, but it's okay. I like it. Something about it plays a little bit different. I can't put my finger on exactly what I'm driving, but I enjoy it. And so right now it's in store for 6.5k of gold. Yeah, you get it for that price. I think 6k is a fair price, but 6.5k gold, yeah, why not? Is it a carry tank? No, not that much. But I've had some decent games in it. I've had, as you've heard, I was averaging 28%, so I've had some rotten luck. But now I'm up to 54%, and again, I'll get it up to about 60, 64%, I think, when all's said and done. It just doesn't feel as strong as the Type 57, but not a bad tank, and I think an underrated tank. I think a lot of pros don't like it because it's not that strong, it's harder to carry with, whereas Type 57 is more of a carry tank. This tank is just a tougher tank, but again, I like the challenges sometimes of those tanks that are not super OP. I don't like playing super OP tanks all the time. It bores me. So I like the challenge. This is a challenge tank for me. Not bad. It's not. It's definitely not. It's not bad at all. It's just not great. It's somewhere in between. Let's say, good. Sometime it's verging on the edge of very good. If I had a little something more, I think it could be very good. But it's just a solid tier 8 tank. Anyway, those are my thoughts on all my premium tanks. I've sold a few over the years that I absolutely hated. I haven't picked up some of those crazy, silly, imaginary tanks. There are a few tier 10s that I haven't picked up because they were too dang expensive. My my rule is basically if I can get them in the auction for about 15k, I might consider it or less. But I'm looking for deals. I don't want to just throw my credits away. Sorry, my gold away. I would like to pick up the 268/4, but at 22.5k gold, which was in the store recently for, that's a solid hard pass for me. But drop it down to around 15k, I'll be like, ooh, why not? I'll have that. I also want the AMX M454 or something like that. I think that's a fun tank, and I'm looking forward to getting that. But again, I don't want to pay that much for it. So I'm looking for around 15k for that, which would be nice. Anyway, those are my thoughts. What do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments below. I do apologize for everybody who tried watching the other video and was absolutely annoyed to high heaven. I hope this has worked. I am going to check this video carefully before I upload it this time. I don't know what the heck happened, but hopefully with my new software, I should be able to upload this without a hassle. Let's hope. And I hope you enjoyed this video and stuck with me this long. That's all I got for you. I'll see you next time. Oh, and if you want to give me a donation, I would be most appreciative because it will help me be able to pick up those objects and AMXs in tier 10 when they come into the store again. Um, that's all I got for you. I'll see you next time. Snugs on Blitz, out.